But if you could address the very real concerns that showed up, for example, in the recent Discord data breach, where 2.1 million government IDs, which were necessary for age verification, were hacked. Perhaps as you go through and talk about requiring IDs, requiring information, I know you're not putting these requirements in place, but what are the privacy risks that you see for young people as that rolls out? Ms. Woods-Joyce?
Thank you, Senator. And I think privacy is obviously a really critical consideration here. We've seen the advice from the E-Safety Commissioner and the Privacy Commissioner with regard to their expectations around data minimisation. At TikTok, we do take a data minimisation approach to the information that we collect on our users.
You probably heard the Privacy Commissioner in the evidence that she gave, quite frankly, point out that the same risks that apply for Discord are going to apply of necessity as this is rolled out. So I know they say that, but they also acknowledge the very real privacy risks that the Discord shows. But yes.
Yeah, I understand. And just to be clear, with respect to taking IDs, of course, that is one option amongst many options that our users might have to assure their age. And when we use an ID verification, we are actually relying on a trusted third-party provider, and then they will then send a signal back to us as to whether the user is old enough to use our service. So there are different ways we could appeal age. They are privacy preserving, and we're doing our very best to make sure that we're not collecting more information than we need. I'm also very happy to speak about our privacy collection and security structures as well, if that's of assistance.
Well, we might then just quickly go to Meta. You've a 15-year-old, just turned 15, going to have their accounts deactivated, frozen. They may be able to download photos, but if they don't access that before the 10th of December, that's not available. What's going to happen to all those social connections and their memories?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we're still working through the sort of a lot of the precise flows, but just to go to your point around sort of our approach to the IDs and things like that that may be used as part of the age assurance process, we do use a third-party provider, Yoti, where people are given the option either of a video selfie, which is an age estimation approach, or ID, providing government IDs. We don't store any of that as part of our processes. That's all maintained by Yoti. There are some instances where we do ask for ID if we think an account is fake and things like that, and in those instances, we only store the data for 30 days. It's encrypted in transit and stored in separately. So we're very alive to the privacy and security risks and trying to make sure that we're adopting the least intrusive approach at all times. But ID is a very small part of our age assurance process.
Now, I don't blame you for the arbitrary timetable that the government's put on you. Like, you have to comply in 43 days. The information about what you have to comply with has only slowly been made apparent to you. But it seems to me astounding that all your three platforms are still working out the technology, the information flows for a young person, or for 2.5 million young people. I mean, can you think of another example around the world where this kind of arbitrary timeframes and imposition has been placed on platforms, given what an impact it's going to have on 2.5 million young people? Have you had this kind of rushed regulation anywhere else? Ms. Park-Stout.
I can't speak to that, but I do think the Age Assurance Technology Trial Report does point to a number of the challenges with this globally novel minimum age of 16. So it is I think all of us would be hard-pressed if we went into a high school and had to sort of guess if somebody was 16 or 15. So I think we're all working to try to comply with the law as best we can.
Ms. Park-Stout.
Yes, Senator, this is an incredibly complicated situation, and Australia is a first mover in this space. And so we are learning as we go along on how best to execute a plan to comply with the law. Age assurance has a number of privacy risks. It naturally requires the collection of incredibly personal information. And as was seen by the Discord breach, it is so alarming when 70,000 users have their private data leaked into the public. This is for the reason why Snap and many others have been very supportive of device-level age assurance. That means requiring the devices, Apple, Google, or App Store levels to collect age at the point of sale so that they can share the age signal with the thousands of apps that user chooses to verify their age with. So that is just but one mechanism. We don't have the luxury of that now, as Google and Apple have not set that up. But we're gonna do the best we can to comply.
And lastly, Ms. Woods-Joyce.
Thank you, Senator. And I think the government itself has also said they're building the plane as they're flying it, for lack of a better term. We are working very hard to make sure we comply. But as you say, this is novel legislation, and we are just doing the very best that we can to support our community, to prioritise their safety and their privacy, and we'll communicate as clearly as we can, as early as we can, to make sure that our community understand what they can expect from us in the lead up to December the 10th.